Hi, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today I wanted to talk about sincere support. First, let me give a little shout out to Bion, B-I-I-O-N, and the fantastic new shoes I just got. Made out of rubber, so I can run into water anytime I want, which I want. I love running into puddles and stuff. These shoes are so fun. Neither here nor there. This is me giving endorsements without any reward for it. I'm just endorsing products I like. Sincere support. So I'm a very service-themed soul. Some of you watching this, you may feel the same. You may feel like a lot of your heart, a lot of your life, a lot of your attention is devoted to service. I just took a 4-day vacation in Sedona. They have a lot of fires there like they've had in California. I spent a lot of the time and attention in devotional service, prayer service to Oya, Poseidon, Neptune, all concepts of rain spirit, to bring the rains, to give firefighters a break, to send them back to their families, and to aid all of that life, all of the feathered brethren, which can actually fly out of the area, but as well as the four-leggeds and the insects and my beautiful tree friends and plant friends, to give them respite from having to move to new homes or the imminent death that would face them for the stationary plant life. So you may have a similar circumstance where you feel very service oriented, or one of the trainings I went through described it as being a giver or a taker, and you may identify more as a giver. I naturally give. I like to give. I feel good when I give. That actually fills my own cup when I give to you. Being a service-themed soul, I tend to want to support. I want to aid. I'm a medicine person. I'm on the medicine person shamanic path. I want to be medicinal. I want to be a medicine to toxins and poisons. I want to be the balm, the salve, the antidote, right? And have been blessed with many toxic poisons so that I can develop a wide variety internal apothecary for the different variations of toxicity that can be held within the two-leggedry that's out there. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that storehouse within me of medicine. And because it's been a focus of mine, I've had many teachers come in on this topic. How do we sacredly support? How do we sacredly serve? Well, the first step in sacred support or sacred service, it's one thing to say you want to support, to say I want to serve, or to say I'd like to help, or if you need anything, let me know. That's one thing. It's another thing to truly hear the other person and then deliver what is asked when they tell you, here's how you can support me. It's a great question, and it's a kind question to say, how can I support you? My beloved friend Tam, who I was visiting in Sedona, told me a gorgeous story of a mother that every night she would go to her children. And this is such an ego-dropping, truly beautiful to me, rich and delicious practice. But this mother would go to the child every night and say, are there any ways today you found that I can be a better mother to you? Is there anything you saw today that you felt like I could be a better mother to you? And I was like, oh, I love that. I love the ownership of that. I love the responsibility. I love the willingness to change. I love so much about that statement. And I asked, did the child respond with stuff, or was there anything in the report about how the child responded? And Tam said, the child said, when I get upset, it would support me if I am getting stressed out, if you will breathe with me, if we both will just stop. And the mom said, I heard you say that if when you get upset, and repeated back, so this is true support, true service includes generous listening, repeated back, I heard you say that if you get upset tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe with you. I'm going to remind you to breathe, and you want mom to breathe with you, and we're going to breathe together. And the son said, yeah, I want us to breathe together. What a beautiful question. What a beautiful answer. What a beautiful practice. What tremendous beauty to bring into the life of a family. I mean, it's just like welcomed evolution for everyone. and freedom of expression and honesty and your voice matters. There's so much in that I love. And I think that's a really beautiful way to consider. If you're asking if you can support, if you can serve, if you can help, Have you heard the other person? Are you really generous listening to what they say? Did you hear them? Did you hear them? Because there can be a strong tendency to actually actively want to support, to want to aid, to want to help, but we tend to help in the way we want to be helped. Like your friend might say, I'm really depressed. I just want to be alone. I want to process my emotions. I tend to process alone. And if you're somebody that tends to want someone around when you're depressed, and your friend says, you're like, how you doing? I'm depressed. I just kind of want to be alone. Like, oh gosh, is there any way I can support you? Yeah, I just want to be alone. And then you then go to their house because on an unconscious level, when you're depressed, you want people to come over. We tend to make love the way we want to be made love to. We tend to offer friendship in the way we want to experience friendship, right? So if you aren't listening, then you might go and cause them to be in a situation where now they have to be socially exposed in a time when they're asking not to be. So now you've done the opposite of support them, even though it felt like support because that's what you would have wanted. So the first step of really surrendering to serving and supporting and aiding others in a sacred way is to generously listen to them. Last time I dated someone in 1912, it would be more funny if it wasn't so true. The last time I dated somebody, they were sick and they worked, they own their own construction company, and that's a job that requires a lot of calorie burning and da-da-da-da. And so I made them breakfast tacos, and I put shiitake mushrooms in it to boost their immune system. So I made them some like immunity building breakfast tacos, took it to their house, and then they got really upset with me. And I was living in Austin, which is like taco capital of the world. So I was like, I don't know why we're getting upset that I made you tacos. But my growth and evolution, because this story I'm telling is about my growth and evolution, they certainly had some around communication piece for sure. But they told me, like, it doesn't support me if you hear, I don't feel good, I'm kind of hungry, or whatever it is we're having a conversation about, and you immediately go to meet that need without checking in to see if I want you to meet the need. And I was like, okay, isn't meeting needs helpful? Like, I almost couldn't even comprehend it because I've spent so much of my life devoted to meeting various needs. And what he said is Heather, you could make me 1,000 tacos and I would eat all of them. I would eat all of them. So actually portion control and managing what I eat is something that's very challenging for me. I don't usually eat in the morning. I eat in a certain way and blah, blah, blah. And just like, it doesn't support me if somebody is bringing to me something that I'm trying to monitor my intake with. Of course, I'm going to eat it. They were delicious. Like, I'm going to eat, and like, what would support me is if I say something and you hear a need and you want to support, is to say, is there any way I can support you with that need? Is there any way that I can help you? Do you want me to make you breakfast tacos with shiitake mushrooms, which boost the immune system? No, please don't ever bring me food. Okay, can I bring you anything? Do you need any medicine? Is there any way I can help? And that, if you listen to what I say, will be how you can help me. And the answer might be not at all, or, and then you can accept that if I don't need help because I'm an independent grown person. So that was a very eye-opening experience for me. It was upsetting because they were very upset, and it was confusing. Because I don't, because to me, I would love it if I'm pretty antisocial, but I would still love some breakfast tacos with shiitake mushrooms if I'm hungry and I don't feel good, and I definitely don't feel like cooking. So I delivered what I would have wanted. So there's this piece of generous listening that is foundational to it. There's another piece of ensuring that you're meeting your own needs. Sometimes we're leaning too heavy on someone else's support. Just because someone can help you doesn't mean that they necessarily should enable you by always helping you. So one of my other great teachers, I got to work in the transportation industry. I worked for these really brilliant Russian men. And one of the things that one of the supervisors there taught me, very type A personality, very type A, very driven, just very direct, very to the point, One of the things that was very stressful for me to learn when I was learning it, but I've carried it with me throughout my life, and it's been an asset and an aid. Anytime I went into the CEO and asked a question, the CEO would say to me, did you Google it? Did you YouTube it? Did you research it? Did you try to find the answer on your own? On rare occasions, I'd catch him and be like, no, only this information is in your head. I did all those things. Like, eventually I learned how to be what we call self-sufficient. So a lot of people also crave a lot of support, which is kind of perpetuating a conversation in your own head that you're not able to problem solve. You're not a good problem solver. You need help. You're not smart enough. You're not good. And none of that's true. You're able to solve your own problems. We have all kinds of things at our fingertips, but there are lots of questions that are getting asked in the modern age that can be Googled. Have you tried Google? We have a thing called Google. Get on there. Firefox, whatever. I don't know. Use whatever you like, but we have ways to research questions now. Used to be you got the dictionary, stack of encyclopedias. Hopefully it was in there. You have unlimited access to information. You can ask any question in the universe and see if you can find answers, find a YouTube video, teach yourself, be self-reliant, be self-sufficient. So some people are also takers instead of givers, and they're leaning too heavy in the support of the supporters. So one of the things I really try to do because of this great teacher, before I look for support, is I look to see if I can support myself. Can I find the answer? Do I have the way? I mean, it's become so instantaneous sometimes that most people, a lot of the questions they're asking, they haven't at all tried to find their own answer. They're going to people that they feel like know the answers. But why not teach yourself? Why not look it up? Why not Google it? Choose any words. Google it. Figure it out. And in general, like, sometimes we can lean too heavy in support from people who have the gifts that we don't have. I'm not an accountant, but I'm darn sure not going to expect accountant friends to do my taxes for free, right? So it's important to also recognize, just because somebody has talents and gifts that you haven't chosen to teach or develop yourself, that you should honor that. Because you have a friendship, it's not you just unlimited have access to this thing that I do professionally. It's important to consider how you're receiving support. Is it in balance? Because energy balance is something that is worth seeking. Are you giving as much as you're getting? Are you taking? Are you taking, or are you just like endlessly consuming products? Are you taking from your friends? Are you taking from their attention? Are you constantly needing their ear? Are you constantly needing them to be around you? Are you constantly asking them to share their gifts? Are you constantly, then check in, because that's really holding you in a small way, and you are much bigger than that. We are very, I would say, competent and capable self-coaches, self-advisors, intuitive to finding our own answers. All answers lie within. And when we become too dependent, and I've done this, I've had friendships where I've gone through depressions, and I've had very loving and very supportive friends, and they've just had earfuls from me, because it's just like, I don't know, it's still just the endless darkness. And it's like, bless them. May they have tenfold return on whatever grace they've given me in my many darkened hours. And I pray that a lot for them. It's important to be mindful. I'm not advocating, if you're in a darkened hour, that you shouldn't reach out. That's often a time where you don't reach out. And for many of you, because you're hardcore givers, you're not willing to ever take, and you're not willing to get the support when you need it. So the other way we walk in balance with that is, if you're an overgiver, if you're an overextender, then what is needed for you is a greater ability to receive and a greater ability to have boundaries around your giving. It doesn't serve for you to constantly be filling other people's cups up when you're very thirsty. So making sure that you're also receiving support and love. Just a lot of thoughts today about generous listening. I feel like I keep telling people the same thing over and over again. And it's like, are you listening? Did you hear what I said? Because it's exhausting. For me, it's like I would rather just not even have the relationship if I have to constantly keep describing something and you're not going to bother to listen to me. Why am I listening so attentively to you all the time? What are we doing? I'm no longer at a place where I want to be imbalanced in my energy dynamics. Perhaps that's something to consider today, energy balancing. Go to rearbirdmedicine.com. We will have classes coming up soon, and you can always join us on YouTube by subscribing. Blessed be.